NBA rookie becomes strongest shooting guard in history. Episode 51. With Logan hitting the free throw, the Golden State Warriors re-extended their lead to 21 points. The offensive momentum on the Knights' side also followed the appearance of Logan, and he was completely strangled. In the end, with the Cavaliers fans almost running out of the speedy Loan Center, the Golden State Warriors won their first win of the season by 22 points on the road. We lost to Logan, and that's the only thing I want to say today. Post-match interview. Cavaliers coach Byron Scott, who was interviewed by the media, said directly, "Looking at the data performance handed over by this Celestial Empire kid, it's hard to imagine that he's just a rookie. Seriously, the Cavaliers' goal this season is to swing plus train 2 young guards. But in the first game of the home season, you can't lose so ugly." However, Scott is not without a way to change the status quo, and there is really no way to stop Logan's unsolvable performance on the offensive end. The season has just started and the team is adjusting. Kyrie Irving, who was interviewed immediately after, was still hard-mouthed. "Next time, we will take away victory in Auckland." In the game, Irving scored 17 points. It may seem good, but most of his scoring came during Logan time on the bench. When he faced Logan, he only got a pitiful 2 points. Of course, this does not prevent Irving from continuing to believe that he is the strongest rookie in the past 3 years. Don't ask. To ask is to be confident. Unlike Irving's still confident hard mouth, Bradley Beal is much more blunt. Rowe is as strong as he was in the NCAA 64 round, and he looks unstoppable. Logan's dominance today reminded Bill of the nightmare image of being single-handedly ridden by Logan in the round of 64 and forcibly reversed. What Bill didn't expect was that from the first game of the NCAA tournament to the first game of the NBA, the two could actually meet. And it was Logan who left such a deep, unforgettable mark on himself. The young Florida defender even doubted that he might have to live in Logan's shadow for the rest of his career. "I'm in mediocre form today, but luckily we have Logan." Curry, an elementary school student interviewed on the other side, looked relaxed. "Logan is our teammate. This is the most happy thing for me in the new season." To be honest, Curry's performance today can't be said to be very average. In the first game after returning from injury, in addition to the first 3-point accurate shot in the opening game, the performance of the rest of the time period was simply crotch-pulling. He shot 4 of 12 from the field and contributed just 9 points. This is indeed related to the fact that he has just returned from injury. In Logan's memory, Curry returned to the first game of the 12-13 season, more crotch-pulling than today, 2 of 14 from the field, and only scored 5 points. In fact, it's not just the first game crotch-pulling back from injury. Curry often played power outages in the first half of the 12-13 season. Various matches of 2 of 14, 6 of 16, 3 of 15, and even just 5 shots have been sent. Very cooking. If it is in the future era of meetings, Logan can hardly imagine what Curry will be like by fans today. But like Curry himself said, although his performance was crotch-pulling, Logan used his amazing play to forcibly pull Mo God out of the venue. In the whole game, Logan played 3 quarters, blasted a game-high 45 points, and gave out 10 assists, grabbed 8 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. With just 1 steal away, Logan made his debut with a 4x5 all-round performance. Although he did not play a 4x5 performance in his debut, Logan became the second rookie player in NBA history to contribute 40-plus double-doubles in his debut. As for who was the last one? That's of course the vert record must have me Chamberlain. At the same time, the scoring performance of 45 points in his debut allowed Logan to successfully surpass Wilt Chamberlain's rookie opening game scoring record. The basketball emperor once made his career debut with a stunning 43 points and 28 rebounds for a large double-double, setting a rookie player's debut score plus rebound record. Today, 53 years later, the rebounding record cannot be surpassed. But Logan still surpassed Jean Dashuai's scoring record and created a new history in the NBA. At the same time, Logan is also the first rookie in NBA history to contribute 40 points and assists for a double-double in his first game. There are no ancients before, and it is difficult to have another Comer in the future. Logan, who set a new scoring record in the first game of NBA rookies, has undoubtedly become the real core of today's post-game interview session. After the interview with Curry, reporters flocked to Logan, 3 layers inside and 3 outside, surrounding him. That is, when he was in the NCAA, Logan had already seen this kind of posture and was used to it. If the average rookie player sees the media like this, he may not even know where to start. "Luo, first of all, congratulations on winning the first victory of your NBA career. Will it be different in the NBA game than in the NCAA?" Rowe, before today's game, Kyrie Irving said that he is the strongest rookie in the NBA in the past 3 years. Can you respond to this topic head-on now? Who is the strongest rookie in the last 3 years? Row, how does it feel to make history in the NBA today when you scored 45 points, surpassing Chamberlain and setting a rookie debut scoring record? Row. The reporters at the scene not only rushed to plug the microphone into Logan's mouth, but also rushed to throw out their own questions. Reporters from authoritative media such as ESPN, TNT, ABC TV, and other authoritative media in the United States look like they are going to have a live-action offline PK, and the scene of scrambling is extremely fierce. The first thing I want to say is, facing the fanatical reporters, Logan didn't want to think about it, and directly answered the first question. I think the NBA and NCAA games are no different. Episode 52. The NBA is no different from the NCAA. Rogan's calm words made the reporters at the scene stunned. This answer is also outrageous. As we all know, there may only be 1 or 2 players who can reach the NBA level of each team in the NCAA tournament. Some tournament teams, or even the entire team, don't have a player who has reached the NBA level. Just like this year's tournament, Rogan's opponent in the round of 32, Louisville, that is a team that has not been selected by the NBA. Are you going to say that the NCAA is no different from the NBA? The gap in the level of this player is already very significant. But the reporters thought about it. Rogan's highest score in a single game in the NCAA was 45 points. He came to his first official game in the NBA and scored a record 45 points in the third quarter. In this way, the NBA and NCAA really make no difference for Rogan. It's all a game that can score 45 points in a single game. For a while, the reporters on the scene were really stunned. They couldn't tell if Logan was pretending/forcing or serious. Of course, there are still some differences in the rules of the 2 games, such as the NCAA only has the first and second halves, there is no first quarter and second quarter. Logan added a little bit about the difference in the rules of the 2 games. To say that there is no difference between the NBA and the NCAA is also nonsense. The NCAA played 40 minutes, not 24 seconds offense, but 35 seconds. Isn't that all the difference? As for the second question, I don't think there is a need to answer. After answering the first question, Logan directly chose to ignore the second question. Who is rookie of the last 3 years? After watching today's game, does this question still need to be answered? Of course not. Ignoring the second question, Logan answered the third question directly. It's nice to set records, but it's nothing special. After thinking about it, Logan continued, after all, I have broken and created too many records since the NCAA. Seriously, since the start of the NCAA championship, Logan has led Texas farm workers without knowing how many records have been set. Breaking records can be very rare for others and deserve special attention. But for Logan, that's a sparse and ordinary thing. Basic, don't six. Last question, Luo. Although surprised by Rogan's answer, the ESPN reporter finally threw out the question, who do you think will be the best rookie of the season? When this question was thrown, the air at the scene felt embarrassed for a few seconds. The ESPN reporter was also stunned for a moment. To be honest, he himself felt cerebral palsy in this question, but the leader asked him to ask questions, so he couldn't help but ask. I think you should change the question. Before Logan turned to end the interview, he dropped a sentence, who will be the MVP of the season? Dropping that sentence, Logan left the messy reporters behind, turned and walked into the players' tunnel and back into the away team's dressing room. The reporters on the scene also quickly digested Rogan's final speech. ESPN's reporter asked who the rookie of the season was, apparently because Logan is fully capable and possible to lock in the best rookie of the season early. Rogan's final words, who will be the season's MVP, if the reporters are not mistaken. The 12-time top pick, the goal is not just the best rookie. His goal also includes the regular season MVP of the season, aka the MVP trophy. Boy. Crazy enough, confident enough. No doubt. After 3 games on the opening day of the new NBA, the headlines of major media in the United States were dominated by the Los Angeles Lakers and Golden State Warriors. The key words on the Lakers side are unexpected upset, poor running in, disillusionment of the Big Four, and Lakers fans from heaven to hell. On the Warriors side, it revolves almost entirely around Logan. ESPN, the debut of the Celestial Empire broke the 53-year record, and Luo's goal is to become an MVP. TNT, the 12th champion show hit 45 plus 10 in the first game, the strongest rookie in the past 10 years, maybe it's really not just talk. ABC TV, Logan made history in the first game of his NBA career, and bluntly said after the game that his goal for the season is to win the MVP. Obviously, for the media, Logan just mentioned the MVP after the game, and when it came to their pen, it was Logan sword MVP. The spring and autumn brushwork is definitely pure and green. Wouldn't anyone really think Logan was just talking casually? However, on ESPN's Evening News, Stephen A. Smith was serious. Why do many fans think that Logan just mentioned it casually? Let's see what a stunning debut we made this year's top show. He played only 3 quarters, contributed a record 45 points, gave out 10 assists, and was only 2 rebounds away. He would have made his debut triple-double, and he was a 45-plus triple-double. Note that Logan didn't even make a single mistake, and his performance in every quarter was perfect. These are just what the data tells us, and the content of his game is also full of spectacle. Like Stephen A. Smith said, Logan contributed 4 5-ball shots in one game today. Whether it's pitch performance, full court stats, or team records, Logan's performance is impeccable. If Smith emphasized, continuing, if Ro can stay a whole season, like today, why can't he be the most valuable player this season? Now, no one thinks that Logan just mentioned it casually, right? From the time of the NCAA, Stephen A. Smith was a loyal fan of Rogan. Now, Rogan's first game in the NBA has surprised the world. Smith does not blow Logan to the sky. Then sorry, Logan hit 45 points today. The point is that Stephen A. Smith's blow is really justified. After ESPN's episode was broadcast, it was instantly in the fan circle, causing a huge wave of discussion. Episode 53. On Twitter, the hot search for Logan breaking N records in the first battle was quickly suppressed. And what suppressed this hot search is still about Rogan's hot search topic. Is Logan qualified to run for this season's regular season MVP? On this topic, Twitter was divided into 2 groups of fans. One faction believes that Logan is fully qualified to run for this season's MVP. Looking at Ro's performance in today's game, looking at NBA history, only Wilt Chamberlain can prevail with exaggerated rebounds. That's right, don't forget that Logan played 45 plus 10 plus 8 plus 4 today. It only took 3 quarters, give him enough time. This performance will not be an occasional phenomenon. If Logan can keep his standard high all season, why can't he run for MVP? It's not a player in NBA history who has been named MVP without a rookie season, so why can't Logan be next? Just like the fans say. In NBA history, there are a total of 2 players who, in their rookie season, became NBA MVPs. They are Bone Crusher, Unseld, and Basketball Emperor, Worth Everywhere has me Chamberlain. Although there are only 2 of them, this also means winning the rookie season as MVP is not impossible. Logan has created so many miracles that seem impossible. Why is it considered impossible to achieve something that has been done long ago? Of course, the other group of fans has the exact opposite view. Logan did a really good first game of his career, but he only played 1 game, so he was going to run for MVP? Dude, there's never been a discussion that decides the MVP thing. You guys say Luol locked the rookie of the season in advance, running for MVP? He is not qualified enough. MVP needs a whole season of good performance, and it also needs the team's record. Can Logan sustain a whole season like he did today? That's impossible. Can the Golden State Warriors' current roster be guaranteed to be a team in the top half of the West? This is also impossible. The opposing point of view is actually very sharp. They don't deny Rogan's record-setting play today, and they agree that Logan can lock in the best rookie early. However, Rogan only played 1 game. From ancient times to the present, there is no discussion in the MVP selection. What's more, Logan is just a rookie, and his rookie identity gives people every reason to doubt. His performance today is short-lived. No one would believe that a rookie player can maintain a 45 plus 10 level of play for an entire season. After all, not everyone is called Wilt Chamberlain. More importantly, MVP selection also depends on the team's performance. You can't see Kobe Bryant in the 05-06, 06-07 season performed like a god on the offensive end. But because the Lakers' record has always been in the lower half of the West, Kobe Bryant has never won in the MVP competition in those 2 seasons. Now, the same question lies in front of Logan. Take a look at the Warriors' roster this year. Curry, who returned from injury, scored just 9 points in the first game. Second-year shooter, Klay Thompson. Ezeri, and who can't keep up with the pace of the team. And a bunch of rookies, plus base salary players on the bench. Why does this roster compete with the GDP Spurs, Dewey Thunder, Airlink City Clippers, and F4 Lakers for a spot in the top half of the West? Not to mention, on the Eastern side, LeBron James still has a strong dominance. James, who has won 3 MVPs in the last 4 years, is a strong contender for the most valuable player in this year's regular season. To sum up, Rogan's winning the best rookie is a certainty. But compete for MVP? Stop thinking about it. Of course, Logan didn't dominate the hot search for too long. On October 31st, U.S. time, the new NBA season began in full swing. James Harden, who was traded from the Thunder to the Houston Rockets, ushered in his first game of dominance. Finally, in his debut at Space City, Harden turned in 37 points, 12 assists, 4 rebounds, and 4 steals. While leading the team to victory, Harden's statistical performance makes people realize there may be more than Logan and James Harden young people to watch in the West this year. I think a new topic has emerged: who is the most noteworthy shooting guard in the West this year? Besides Kobe Bryant, Logan versus James Harden, who will be the second quarterback in the West? Maybe it's time for Kobe Bryant to step aside, and the young guards in the West are starting to rise. While fans are buzzing about Harden's Rockets debut, the Los Angeles Lakers ushered in their first back-to-back trip of the new season. At the Rose Garden Arena in Portland. Facing the Portland Blazers, who won only 28 games last season, the Lakers, who sat on F4, lost to a young opponent. Different from the previous game. In this game, the performance of the Lakers players did not show serious crotch pulling. With 60% shooting, Dwight Howard blasted 33 points, grabbed 14 rebounds, and even scored 5 assists. Kobe Bryant shot 10 of 20 and scored 30 points and 6 rebounds. However, it was in the case of Kobe Bryant plus Howard plus Gasol who combined to score 79 points. The Lakers still ate 2 consecutive losses in the opening game. For a while, the fishing boat exploded. Logan and Harden, who first picked the beam, played an unexpected performance. And the Lakers, who have F4, also played unexpected games. The shock brought by James Harden is far from over. On November 2, U.S. time, the Houston Rockets ushered in the second game of the season. James Harden shot 14 of 19 and 15 of 17 free throws, and while showing Magneto's power, he blasted 45 points and 7 rebounds to help the Rockets win 2 straight games. 35 plus 5 in 2 consecutive games, and also gave out a season-high 45 points tied with Logan. James Harden's name instantly appeared on social networks. More fans posted directly on the Basketball Republic forum: if you really want to talk about MVP, why consider Logan instead of James Harden? Episode 54. In the eyes of most fans, Logan's debut performance is indeed amazing, but Harden's performance in these 2 games is also not behind. If Logan deserves to run for MVP, James Harden definitely has a place too. It is worth mentioning that the Lakers also have games today. And they also played the Los Angeles Derby on their home turf against the Los Angeles Clippers. Kobe Bryant played 43 minutes and scored 40 points. But sadly, the Lakers were still 95-105 and lost to the young Clippers. In the post-game interview session, Kobe, who scored 40 points, directly refused all media interviews, turned and walked into the players' tunnel, leaving only an angry back to the reporters. ESPN featured Bryant's back as a news cover, with a postscript: the Los Angeles Lakers are in trouble with Kobe Bryant. Since the start of the game, the Lakers have lost all 3 games. Counting their 8-game losing streak in preseason, they are 0-11 after forming F4. When will the Lakers win? It has become a hot topic in the media. At the same time, the camera was given to Phoenix. This season's Phoenix Suns, although they sent Steve Nash, the core of the team for many years, to the Los Angeles Lakers, they still retain hope for the future. That's right, they traded multiple picks from the Lakers and signed Goran Dragic as Steve Nash's successor. United States, Phoenix, American West Arena. Commentators from ABC on the sidelines began to warm up for the game, after talking about the Suns playing at home. In fact, I want to analyze more about the team that played away today, the Golden State Warriors. Especially in this year's draft, they sent David Lee away, the 12th top pick Logan. Compared to the home game, the Sun has no heat, and the 2 commentators also know very well who is the protagonist of today's game. If it weren't for the fact that at Phoenix, the commentator would even want to spend all his time analyzing the Warriors and Logan. Our top pick, in the first game of his career, broke the record held by basketball emperor Wilt Chamberlain for rookie first game points. A lot of people even put him on the list of MVP candidates for this season. But Logan is not the only player who has played well this season. Just like the narrator said, James Harden's performance so far can compete with Logan. This has also led many fans to feel that Logan may not even be able to compete for the best competition of the week in the West in the first week, compared to Harden. Even the best of the week can't be 100%, what kind of MVP competition to talk about? So, after Harden has played 2 consecutive excellent games, what can Logan play in the second game? It's worth looking forward to. Between the 2 commentators, the starters from both sides stood on the pitch. Phoenix Suns starter, Goran Dragic, plus Michael Beasley, plus Dudley plus Luis Scola, and Marcin Gortat. The Golden State Warriors starter is business as usual: Stephen Curry, plus Klay Thompson, plus Ezri plus and Logan. Mark Jackson actually thought about adjusting the team's roster. Although the team beat the Cavaliers in the last game, Tay and Isery were on the court, which was obviously a little out of touch with the team's rhythm. However, now is not the era of the small ball in the strict sense of the future. So in Mark Jackson's opinion, the interior lineup of the two big players still needs to be retained. However, the appropriate reduction in playing time for the two big players is still in Mark Jackson's plan. Both sides started the pitch, with the center forwards on both sides standing on the halfway line and the referee throwing the ball high. Special took the lead in getting the ball into Curry's hands. The Golden State Warriors received defensive possession for the first defense of the opening game. Curry held the ball through the half, raised his hand to cover, hit the middle range, and hit the ground in a small area to find the right side and cut into the hands of Logan under the basket. Boom. Basketball started. Logan faced Scola, who came over and took off directly. Diamond Scola is a player who plays on the ground, and seeing Logan jump so high, he can only stand in place, watch his opponent work at height, and put the ball into the basket across himself. 2:0. Golden State Warriors take the lead. Rogan's bounce is amazing. I think he can use this ball to block Louis Scola. I think Logan can buckle, but it's not necessary. Another commentator quipped, if you can score easily, why waste effort? That's true, but the player who can score easily, the Phoenix Suns, also have one. As he spoke, the Suns' offense advanced half. Goran Dragic also chose to call the block at the top of the arc, then moved inside and threw the ball high to the right side of the basket. It's too late, it's too soon. Without the ball getting rid of the defending Tom, Michael Beasley jumped and flew out on the flank, ready to finish the empty catch. Logan is truly a rare talent. It's just that in these years, who has not been a genius? As the number 2 pick of the 08th class, Michael Beasley, who even suppressed Kevin Durant in the limelight in college, is definitely worthy of the name of genius. Ron gone, not only Logan can easily score in all positions on the pitch, but Beasley can too. Boom. However, before Beasley could complete the air snap, a figure flew out in front of him, completely covering it. It's Rogan. Logan defended in front of Michael Beasley. The commentators on the sidelines were ready to blow a wave of Beasley, and the result was a sudden change on the field. I don't know when to replenish Logan. The rocket lifted off, and with the blessing of the terrifying bullet speed, he reached the maximum height one step faster, and faced Beasley, who was in the air to the bombed frame, and pressed down fiercely. Episode 5. Oh. United States, Phoenix, American West Arena. As Logan pressed Michael Beasley's empty catch buckle head-on, the entire arena was in an instant uproar. Although Beasley has not been able to gain a foothold on any team, his offensive ability is still very strong for the impact of the basket. This kind of empty connection full of impact was actually directly headed down by Rogan? The visual impact is completely full of Ukiyo. WTF. Michael Beasley, who was directly overturned by Rogan's big hat, fell to the ground with a surprised look. Can this ball also be capped? It's not scientific. Logan, who has done all this, doesn't care if you're scientific or not. Pressing the cap on Beasley in the front, Logan quickly controls the ball, directly pushes the conversion attack, and flies into the front court. Goran Dragic also returned quickly to defense, shrinking early under the basket to stand in a defensive position. Boom. In the 3-second zone of the front court, Logan faced Dragic, who was standing back on the defensive position, directly changed hands plus turned around, perfectly dodged defenders, and took off to score a violent dunk. This scene, like the change of hands completed by Kobe Bryant in the fast attack, instantly made the commentator on the sidelines jump up from the bench. I'm not mistaken. This ball actually made me see the shadow of Kobe Bryant. That's right, Logan's ball is like a peak Kobe. Seriously, Rogan's completion of this ball is even better than Kobe Bryant at that time, because Luo's movement amplitude is larger, and the overall movement is silky smooth and full of strength. It's wonderful. This ball will definitely be the top 5 of today's balls. Speaking of this, the two commentators looked at each other. You know, on the day of Logan's debut, one person almost monopolized all the 5 best balls. As a result, in this second game, there was another shot of the top 5 balls in the opening game. Really average 5 best goals per game? The Phoenix Suns still failed to open the game on the offensive end, and Goran Dragic blocked a 3-point shot and missed the iron. The rebound was protected by the Warriors, and Curry quickly advanced through the half after receiving the ball. Klay Thompson and Logan left and right position, Curry fake pass Tom, real pass Logan, assist the first 3-point shot of the opening game of the Celestial Empire. 7:0. The Golden State Warriors' advantage is growing. Another goal from Rowe, he hit the first 3-pointer of the game. The Golden State Warriors' advantage has expanded, and the gap between the two teams is too obvious. Yes, the Phoenix Suns can't score on the offensive end, but the Warriors don't save face at all. They do whatever they want on the offensive end. The two commentators side at the Sun fighting on the home field. The two sides of today's game are not on the same level at all. The power outage on the offensive end of the Suns continues, and the Golden State Warriors are indeed, as the commentator said, leaving no face for the home team. Just over 4 minutes into the first quarter, the Warriors blew a whirlwind of combat at the West Arena, a 16-0 shockwave, and the Suns felt numb in the scalp. Even though Suns coach Alvin Gentry called 2 timeouts, he still couldn't stop the Warriors attacking Iron Horse. In the first quarter, the Warriors had already taken an 18-point lead on the road. Just like the first game against the Cavaliers, once again the Warriors almost sealed the victory in just one game. Is the Phoenix Suns too weak, or are the Golden State Warriors too strong? During the break, the two commentators were a little overwhelmed. The Warriors are completely pressing the Sun, and the team playing at home is simply breathless. What's more, the Warriors don't have much strength on the defensive end, and they simply rely on offense to punch the Sun hammer to the ground. Seriously, this game was not very strong defensively, and it was supposed to be a head-to-head battle. It's just that the Suns themselves pulled their crotches on the offensive end, and the Warriors were too fierce on the offensive end. This is where the game becomes one-sided. In the end, the Phoenix Suns replaced all the main players after the third quarter and announced early abandonment of the game. The Warriors starters led by Logan once again received the treatment of a three-quarter clock-in, comfortably on the bench to watch the final quarter of the game. PJ Tucker, Middleton, and Drummond Green showed off their fighting power in the fourth quarter. The Warriors' garbage time not only did not force the point difference, but also opened the point gap one step further. In the end, the away Warriors defeated the Suns by 33 points on the road, giving their opponents their second loss of the season and winning the opening 2 straight games. Logan efficiently handed out 34 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 blocks in the game. Compared with these data, what makes the commentator blow even more is that Logan has only played 22 minutes. In such a short playing time, Logan has handed over a lot of players who have played a full game without touching the stats. In the 2 games so far this season, we didn't even get a chance to see Logan in the fourth quarter. At the end of the game, the commentator on the sidelines suddenly realized Logan actually never played in the fourth quarter. Yes, this is all because the Golden State Warriors' offensive firepower in the first 3 quarters was too ferocious. Another commentator was also aware of this, especially Logan, who was on fire from the first minute of the game and was unstoppable. The Golden State Warriors' performance of sealing the game early for the second consecutive game by a full quarter also caused a frenzied discussion among fans on Twitter. Rational discussion: will the Golden State Warriors be the strongest in the first 3 quarters of all the teams this season? Who can stop the Warriors' offensive firepower in the first 3 quarters? Rogan's first 3 quarters were too explosive, 34 plus 7 plus 5 in 22 minutes, not at all worthy of James Harden. The discussion on the American side is hot, and the fans of the Celestial Empire on the other side of the ocean are also hotly discussing the Warriors' daily performance in the 3 quarters of the collapse. More enthusiastic Celestial Empire fans call this performance of the Warriors Brave 3 crazy. Episode 56. In Logan's previous life, the title of Brave 3 Madness did not appear without it. But at that time, the Brave 3 Madness, describing the Golden State Warriors 15 years later, often played a wave of shockwaves in the third quarter, instantly opening up the point difference and establishing the victory. The current Yongsan is crazy, but this is not what it means. According to the explanation of Celestial Empire fans on the Hoopu forum, Yongsan Mad refers to the Golden State Warriors can always maintain hot form in the first 3 quarters, and the attack with full fire in the third quarter will take the victory away. Originally, the existence of Logan made the Warriors the new home team for Celestial Empire fans. Now the emergence of the title of Brave 3 Madness has made the popularity of Warriors in the Celestial Empire climb one level. Coincidentally, many American media have also installed some editors in the Celestial Empire. ESPN immediately exported the title of 3 Mad Braves to the basketball community in the United States. Soon, the title of Yongsan Madness became famous on the Twitter hot search list. Even fans in the United States feel that this description is really too appropriate for the Warriors in the first 2 games of this year. The Warriors really crushed their opponents in just 3 quarters. Ha ha ha, Yongsan crazy? I love the nickname. Logan has a talented group of supporters, and his performance deserves the support of this interesting group of fans. Wouldn't it really be that all teams can't withstand the Warriors' firepower in the third quarter? As you said, I'm starting to expect Logan to appear in the fourth quarter, but unfortunately, I haven't seen it so far. While the Celestial Empire and the American fans are frantically discussing the three madness, the Golden State Warriors, as the parties, do not have this effort to understand current affairs. After a road win over the Phoenix Suns, the Warriors flew back to Auckland overnight. They only have half a day's break before they play their first home game of the season, back-to-back on the night of the 3rd. It was also the first time in Rogan's career that he fought back-to-back. Also facing back-to-back operations on the 3rd was the Houston Rockets. James Harden, who played hot in the first two games, appeared Waterloo in this back-to-back game. The bearded man scored a total of 83 points in the two games, and today he shot 8 of 24 from the field, paying tribute to the great Kobe Bryant and scoring 24 points. The Houston Rockets were also on their home court, losing 85-95 to the Portland Trail Blazers. While swallowing their first defeat of the season, people also realized that back-to-back games could still seriously affect the players' form after two hot plays. James Harden, who was in hot form, still failed to resist the impact of back-to-back curses. Yes, back-to-back games are a test for any player. James Harden failed to resist, and now the pressure is all on Logan. Auckland, Oracle Arena. Two senior commentators from ESPN are warming up for the game. The Golden State Warriors, who have finally welcomed their first home game of the season, also ushered in the first back-to-back game of the new season. Logan, who has been in hot form in the previous two games, will hit the wall in the first back-to-back game of the season like James Harden. Became two commentators, focusing on the topic. In particular, the one who came to the Oracle Arena today to fight the Warriors is not a weak brigade. The Memphis Grizzlies, one of the best defensive teams in the Western Conference playoff level. Their interior line has Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph. Black and white Bears guard the inside. I don't know how many teams have a headache. At the same time, on their guard line, Mike Conley and Tony Allen's defense is the leader in defensive ability in the league's guard line. Even if Rudy Gay's defensive ability in the forward position is not outstanding, but Gay's size plus physical fitness, if you are serious about defense, the pressure is still very strong. The Grizzlies can be said to be a defensive brigade to the fullest. Today, the defensive team met the Braves, the Golden State Warriors, who have the most offensive firepower so far in the season. The clash of spears and shields has doubled the topic of this game. The Golden State Warriors fought back-to-back today, so I can't accept anything other than a win. During the warm-up session between the two sides before the game, Grizzlies coach Lionel Hollings directly gave a death order, and the kid from the Texas farm worker opposite, it's time for him to cool down. In Hollins' view, today the Grizzlies must not only win, but also win in a targeted manner. The Warriors' super rookie Logan has been gaining momentum recently, and Hollins must let his lovers extinguish this raging flame. Tony, Logan will leave it to you. After saying the goal of today's game, Hollins drew the number 7 on the tactical board. Take out your attitude against Kobe Bryant in the finals against him. Tony Allen, nicknamed Kobe Bryant Terminator by the Celestial Empire, was once admitted by Kobe Bryant himself, he is the best defensive player to defend himself. The picture of Mr. Tony defending Kobe in the finals is indeed regarded as a textbook defense video by many future forward players who study defending Kobe. Don't worry, coach. Hearing the team's manager's request, Tony Allen directly patted his chest. Today, this kid can't even score a double. On the one hand, Logan was playing back-to-back today, and as a rookie, he could have a bit of a physical problem. On the other hand, Tony Allen is still full of confidence in his defense. Even a god-level player like Kobe, Mr. Tony is fearless. Against a rookie player, is it not a handle? Although it is an exaggeration not to let Logan score doubles, Tony Allen is completely confident that Logan doubts life. Episode 57. The pre-game warm-up for both sides ended quickly, as today is the Golden State Warriors' first home game of the new season. Therefore, before the start of the game, a player entrance ceremony was specially prepared for the young players. The lights dimmed and the spotlight was focused on the Warriors' bench. After a group of substitutes came on one after another, the first to appear among the starters was a schoolboy, Stephen Curry. As one of the key outside cores supported by the team after sending Monta Ellis, Curry still has a very high popularity among the Warriors. When Curry walked out quickly, the cheers of the fans at the scene also increased significantly by several decibels. Immediately afterwards, Thompson, Isery, and Special appeared one after another. 4 of the first 5 people came out, and the brightness of the spotlight on the scene was instantly improved. The next thing to come out is, the DJ at Oracle Arena also deliberately raised his voice. 2012 NCAA Tournament Champion, Most Valuable Player in the Final Four. Jerry West Award winner, AP National Player of the Year. New York Smith Award winner, John Wooden Player of the Year. 2012 NBA Top Pick. Luo Zhen, who is 2.01 meters tall from the Celestial Empire. With the last long root word coming out, the atmosphere of the entire Oracle Arena instantly reached a climax. If Stephen Curry was the hope of the Golden State Warriors in previous seasons, then Logan is the new darling of Bay Area fans. The top pick who created a Texas fairy tale and scored a total of 79 points in the first 2 games of his career, and the number of fans in the Oakland area even lost to Curry. The arrangement of the order of players in the Warriors' appearance can also be seen in the status of players in the team. Curry was the first to appear, showing that he is one of the core of the team. Logan's grand finale shows that he is the boss of the team. As the enthusiastic cheers of the fans resounded through the stadium, the 2 players started on the court. The Warriors start 5-man as usual, and the Grizzlies starter is Mike Conley plus Tony Allen plus Rudy Gay plus Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol. In stark contrast to the excitement of the Warriors fans at the scene, the Grizzlies starting 5 were all SEMA faces. Look at the expressions of the Memphis Grizzlies starting 5, they are obviously a little upset with the opening ceremony of the Golden State Warriors. That's right, don't look at the Grizzlies playing away from home of the Warriors, and don't mind calming down the fans at the scene. They're perfectly capable of doing that, and the Memphis Grizzlies defense can make the back-to-back Warriors very uncomfortable throughout the game. The Grizzlies will disappoint the fans, they are the best at this kind of thing. The 2 commentators on the scene saw the expressions of the Grizzlies and instantly became energetic. If today's game is still the Warriors' 3-quarter bombardment, and the opponent is powerless to fight back, it will not be exciting. The Grizzlies state that seems to be doing things away is what the 2 commentators are looking forward to seeing. Amid the boiling cheers of the audience, the center of both sides stood on the center line, and the referee threw the ball high. Marc Gasol took the lead in getting the ball into Mike Conley's hands. The Memphis Grizzlies dominate the offensive possession of the opening first attack. Conley quickly dribbled through the half, played a simple block with the big black bear Randolph, and then transferred the ball to the right side of the free throw line. Guy, who had a fake pass from the outside, actually shoved the ball inside into the hands of Randolph. Randolph put the basket solidly and scored steadily. 2 o'clock. The Memphis Grizzlies attacked with a one-sided positional battle to help the team score the first opening attack. What a tacit team play, the Memphis Grizzlies offense is so unpretentious. That's the hallmark of their team, and of course, the Grizzlies aren't offensive powerhouses, they're better at eating and skinning opponents alive on the defensive end. Especially Tony Allen, the defensive elite who has defended countless elite scorers, may make the young Logan suffer a little today. The Grizzlies' offense has nothing to brag about, it is the most conventional positional warfare coordination. What they really deserve to say is the team's tough defense on the defensive end. While speaking, the Golden State Warriors' offensive advance half, and Stephen Curry stopped the ball at the top of the arc. The first time he passed the ball to the hands of Logan, who was outside the 3-point line at a 45-degree angle and asked for the ball sideways. Boom. Basketball started, and before Logan could face the frame, Tony Allen, who was defending him, was already close to the barge. Mr. Tony's defense is very aggressive, and every time he reaches out to interfere with the ball, he is frantically tempted on the verge of a foul. For this kind of blow-or-nothing defensive move, the referee usually chooses to be invisible at the beginning of the game. That's how the NBA says hello, young man. While increasing his defensive aggression, Mr. Tony expertly sprayed trash at Logan, "You don't have a chance to score in front of me." Boom. Just as Mr. Tony's words landed, Logan, who was forced by him closely, did not have any bells and whistles, quickly faced the frame, and pulled it up to be a bukkake/shot 3 points. Logan's instant frame jumped smoothly and quickly, leaving the defender simply too late to react. Mr. Tony watched the basketball draw a smooth arc, bang, and fell into the net. 3:2. The Golden State Warriors went straight to the score. Hitting this goal, Logan didn't even look at the defender, but instead turned his head and shrugged at Grizzlies coach Lionel Hollins on the sidelines. "Why didn't anyone defend me?" Episode 58. Why is there no one to defend me? Logan looked at Hollins calmly, and a sentence that floated out calmly instantly made the Grizzlies coach dumbfounded. Tony Allen's personal defense has just ended, and Logan said that no one is defending him? It's too arrogant. WTF. Not only Hollins was dumbfounded, but Mr. Tony was also surprised. What did Logan say just now? Why didn't anyone defend against him? His own defensive intensity is frantically tested on the verge of fouling, and as a result, you say that no one is defending? Tony Allen is not calm. Originally, he wanted to save some face for Logan, but it seems that there is no need for this. Next, he will use a defense against Kobe Bryant's level to lock up Logan. Oh, after Logan hit this ball, he seemed to say something to Grizzlies coach Lionel Hollins on the sidelines? Everything that happened on the field was also seen by the commentator on the scene. Look at the face of the Grizzlies coach. That is definitely not a good word. Yes, not only did Coach Holland's face become ugly, but Tony Allen's eyes also changed. Another commentator apparently noticed the change in Mr. Tony as well. What exactly did Logan say? What kind of words actually made the Grizzlies coach and players all change their faces? The game continued with the Grizzlies attacking possession of the ball. Conley held the ball through the half, but still chose to play a blocking cooperation with Gasol Jr., walked into the middle distance, and raised his hand for 2 points. 4:3. The Grizzlies took the lead. Offensive and defensive conversion, Warriors attack. After Curry pushed forward quickly, he immediately found Logan, who came out on the other side. It's just that the elementary school student passed the ball a little casually, and the basketball was interfered with by Mr. Tony out of the sideline. Tony Allen has clearly increased the defensive intensity, and the Golden State Warriors almost missed a pass mistake. It seems that it is indeed Rogan's words that do not know the content that made Tony serious, which is not good news for our champion. In the eyes of the two commentators, Tony Allen at this time was like a cheetah eyeing its prey. He will only bite his prey even more frantically, that is, Logan. Klay Thompson sent a touchline ball and Logan stepped forward to ask for the ball. Boom. Firmly catch the sideline ball sent by Tang. Logan is outside the 45-degree angle three-point line on the left side, and Mr. Tony's close pressing has arrived as promised. Different from the first round of the confrontation between the opening two, Tony Allen's pressing action is more fierce, and it does have the smell of biting prey. However, Logan is really not afraid of Mr. Tony's aggressive defense that is on the verge of fouling. He was afraid that Tony Allen would not dare to press it. While holding the ball sideways outside the three-point line, Logan saw the moment Mr. Tony reached out to try to steal, turned around and raised his arm to shoot. Snap. The next moment, Tony Allen's arm that tried to steal slammed into Rogan's arm fiercely, and the sound was extremely loud. Toot. The referee on the sidelines also did not hesitate to whistle directly. Those defensive actions before, the referee can still be seen or not, this hitman is too obvious, not blowing is really sorry for the audience. Swoosh. At the same time as the whistle sounded, Rogan, who was jumping up, had already thrown the ball. The basketball hit the back edge of the basket between Tony Allen's turn and eyes, and obediently fell into the net. Oh. The next moment, the entire Oracle Arena exploded in an instant. Logan caused Tony Allen a defensive foul from outside the three-point line, hit a three-point shot, and also added a free throw. 3-1. Logan has another 3+1. Tony Allen was completely exploited by Rogan, and his ferocious defense sent Logan to the free throw line for nothing. The two commentators on the sidelines were also stunned. They didn't expect that Logan not only was not embarrassed by Tony Allen's fierce defense, but took advantage of the opponent's foul-edged tentative defensive action and played a 3+1. You know, as long as this ball is a little slower than half a beat, it will really be tackled by Tony Allen and give up the ball. Thinking of this, the two commentators looked at each other. Logan is really a bold artist. In the Oracle Arena, the cheers of the fans became louder and louder. After all, Logan is facing Tony Allen, a defensive master nicknamed Kobe Bryant Terminator. This 3+1 is really wonderful. Amid the cheers of the fans, Logan, who stood at the free throw line, hit the penalty steadily. 7:4. Golden State Warriors win by 3 points. The Grizzlies' offense in the next round, still a combination between Conley and the inside Bears, but Randolph put down the basket and accidentally missed. The rebounding was protected by Isery. It's a pity that the 12-time second-round pick handled the ball too slowly, and by the time he got the ball into Curry's hands and the Warriors advanced through the half. The Grizzlies have all completed their defensive positions. The Golden State Warriors can only land positional warfare offensive. This scene on the court was also seen by Warriors coach Mark Jackson. Isery's sluggishness in switching offense is extremely incompatible with the Warriors' current tactical system. With Curry plus Rogan's Warriors, the new season is to run and play, constantly speed up, and play fast-paced offensive and defensive conversions. These two big players are indeed incompatible with the team's tactical play. Not to mention playing fast-paced offensive and defensive conversions, players need to be quick to play the ball. Isery is really not good at this piece. The season has just begun, but Mark Jackson is already preparing to change the team's roster. Woo. However, without waiting for Mark Jackson to think about it, the exclamations of the fans at the scene made the Warriors coach pull his mind back to the court. The man who caused the audience to cheer is still Logan. The champion from the Celestial Empire pulled the station from outside the left three-point line to outside the right three-point line, and faced Tony Allen's constantly stretched defense, turned around again, resisted the foul, and threw the ball. Toot. The referee undoubtedly gave the hitman's Tony teacher a foul whistle, while raising his arm and holding up 3 fingers. It means that 3 points are effective, only look in but not in. In or out? Bang. Basketball, which has a close encounter with the nets, gives the answer to this question. Logan hit his second consecutive 3-point shot and caused Tony Allen to foul defensively, and got a 3+1 chance. Change someone to guard me, man. Logan, who hit 3+1 in a row, hit 3 points, and rubbed shoulders with Mr. Tony. You, not very good. Episode 59, change someone to prevent me? You, not quite? Tony Allen broke the defense. He didn't expect that he would actually be broken by the rookie trash talk. Looking at Mr. Tony's resume, he was in the Boston Celtics, and he had seen big scenes with the Big Three. Against Dwayne Wade, against Kobe Bryant. What kind of scoring master, Tony Allen has seen. What kind of trash talk master, Tony Allen has also learned. But today, facing Logan, he was a little unbearable. This young man from the Celestial Empire not only has a heart for trash talk, the key is that he cooperates with the operation of trash talk, and also makes Mr. Tony weak. Just over 2 minutes into the opening game, Logan hit 3 consecutive 3-pointers, and all of them were dry faces/shots, and the last 2 were all 3+1. Who can stand this? What makes Mr. Tony even more uncomfortable is still ahead. As the game had just begun, he received his second defensive foul early and could only be taken off the field by Coach Hollins. Even if he wanted to get back on the court, Hollins wouldn't give him another chance to take a foul. Not only did Logan's trash talk crit Tony, he was replaced early, and the players defending Logan really changed people, which is the real reason for the critical hit attribute max. There's nothing more mentally exploding than trash talk. Calm down, Tony, Rowe is just a rookie. Lionel Hollins comforts his lover, don't think too much. Coach, Rowe is indeed a rookie, but he has scored 11 points in a row. Before Hollins could finish the chicken soup, Mr. Tony interrupted directly, I have never seen such a strong rookie, or rather, I have never seen such a terrifying scorer. At some point, Rowe made me feel deeply powerless, Coach Hollins. This feeling, I didn't feel in Dwayne Wade, I didn't feel it in Kobe Bryant. Logan is the first guy to make me feel like I can't stop him at all. Although Tony Allen hates to admit it, the truth is, in just a few minutes from today's game, he felt that he had indeed been blasted by Logan. This is a feeling that neither the Flash nor the Black Mamba gave to Mr. Tony. A feeling called despair. You're still too excited, Tony. Coach Hollins patted Tony Allen on the shoulder. Calm down, observe Luo's every move off the field, I believe you just lack an opportunity to study him properly. Saying that Logan is more difficult to deal with than Kobe Wade, Hollins feels that Tony Allen is just under too much pressure and begins to exaggerate. After all, being cut by a rookie player on his head by 11 points in a row is not comfortable with anyone. Hollins is fully convinced that after Tony Allen adjusts his mentality and studies Logan well off the field, Kobe Terminator is more than capable of becoming Logan Terminator. Hopefully. Tony Allen took the towel handed by his teammate, covered his head, and said nothing. The camera returns to the field. Tony Allen was replaced and defended Logan's player into a more physically good Rudy Gay. It's just that guy's physical talent is outstanding, and it also depends on the reference. When he met Logan, it could only be regarded as mediocre. With just over 3 minutes left in the first quarter, Logan held the ball on the flank, changed his back to the frame, and took a brisk step to overtake directly from the right side of Rudy Gay. You know, Peak Matty is known as the fastest first step in the Celestial Empire. Logan's throttle has been on the throttle for 20 years, and Rudy Gay can't stop it at all. Not only that, Logan stepped past the defender, entered the 3-second zone, and faced the standing big black bear Zach Randolph, and got up to be a knockoff heavy buckle at the top of Tarzan. Just like when Kobe Bryant rode Dwight Howard. Logan violently rode Randolph amid the exclamations of nearly 20,000 fans in the audience. Oracle Arena is boiling. Nearly 20,000 home team fans stood up and chanted Logan's name in unison. It only took Logan a quarter to completely conquer the arena. This is how the 12th champion Lang greets. Logan brutally rides Zach Randolph. He once again contributed the 5 best shots of the day. Seriously, Luo must contribute a 5-ball level performance every game, otherwise this game will not be complete. The 2 commentators on the sidelines also said hi completely. Narrating Logan's game is so enjoyable, because you just have to stare at Logan and he himself will give a show that shocks the world. As a narrator, all you need to do is prepare all kinds of exclamations and you're done. In the first quarter, Logan played all 12 minutes directly. His dominant play in the first quarter made people completely forget, this guy is fighting back-to-back. Even Curry and Thompson took an early break in the first quarter to slow down their fitness. But Logan, not only the player who contributed the most in previous games, but also the only Warriors player who does not need to rest today. With his performance of playing the entire first quarter and contributing 24 points and 5 assists, the Golden State Warriors outscored the Grizzlies by 16 points in a single quarter, sealing the victory early. Logan broke the first quarter scoring record for a rookie, and he also set a single quarter scoring record for a rookie. During the intersection, the two commentators completely ignored the Warriors' lead, and all their attention was on Logan. Look at the numbers he put in the first quarter, buddy, is Ro really fighting back-to-back? Think of James Harden's back-to-back tribute to Kobe's 8 of 24 shooting today, and look at Logan today's 24 plus 5 in a single quarter. The two commentators looked at each other again and swallowed a mouthful of saliva one after another. The physique of people and people really cannot be generalized. Episode 60. In the end, even in the first back-to-back game of his career, Logan still enjoyed the treatment of 3 quarters. The Golden State Warriors once again beat the visiting Grizzlies at their first home game of the new season. While winning the opening 3 straight wins, the Warriors also gave the Grizzlies a 2-game losing streak of the season. We lost to the top pick on the other side. In the post-game interview, Grizzlies coach Lionel Hollings said directly, Logan's play is the key to the game, and he almost single-handedly managed our entire team, like Hollings said. Throughout today's game, it was because of Logan's explosive 24 points in the first quarter that helped the Warriors establish an advantage. He knocked the Grizzlies in one breath in the first quarter, and didn't slow down until the end of the game. Isn't this just one person who gets the opponent's whole team? Logan didn't look like a rookie at all, he was like a veteran who had been playing for years. Immediately followed by an interview with the media was Tony Allen. Since being tricked into 2 fouls by Logan early in the first quarter, Mr. Tony sat on the bench for a long time. Also, according to the requirements of team coach Hollins, carefully studied Logan's style of play and technical and tactical actions. Then, Mr. Tony came to a conclusion: to look at Logan, you can't look at it by rookie standards. Whether it is his technical and tactical movements, or the on-the-spot reaction plus judgment, it is the embodiment of the all-star level. Tony Allen really doesn't think what he said to the manager was an exaggeration. I think it's entirely possible for Logan to be a being beyond Dwayne, or even beyond Kobe. Mr. Tony said at the end of the interview, at least in my opinion, it is possible. What Jordan is like, Tony Allen has not guarded, so he does not dare to say big things. At least from the forward scorers he has played against and defended head-on, Logan has every chance to surpass the Flash plus Black Mamba. After saying this, Mr. Tony lowered his head, walked into the players' tunnel, and returned to the locker room. Today's game, he was completely blown up by Logan. However, in the NBA, it is normal to be blown up once or twice. Summing up experience, the more courageous the war is king. The next time we meet, Mr. Tony will definitely fulfill his promise, lock up Logan. After the interview with the players on the Grizzlies' side, the reporters on the scene turned their cameras on the Warriors' side. The first to be interviewed by the media was the Warriors coach, Mark Jackson. Today the team let Logan play all 12 minutes in the first quarter. Is that part of the team's tactical plan? After asking a bunch of questions, ESPN reporters threw out questions that fans cared about. You flew back to Auckland from Phoenix overnight, and the decision by Logan to play the first quarter in the first back-to-back was the coaching staff's request, or did Ro mean it? Although today Logan played the full 12 minutes in the first quarter, contributing a record-setting all-time solo show. But it cannot be ignored that this is also the first back-to-back battle of Logan's career. In the first back-to-back game, he played the full first quarter, which is very demanding for the player's physical requirements. I'd love to say it's the coaching staff's arrangement, but in fact, it's Luo's own request. Mark Jackson put it honestly, the team's coaching staff wanted Ro to come down early to rest, but he told me, give him a full quarter and you can get a longer break. Then, I gave him a whole session, and then you all know the rest of the thing, give him a full section and get a longer break. The words relayed through the mouth of Mark Jackson caused an uproar among the reporters at the scene. This has to be a guy who is confident in his own ability to say it. Is Logan really just a rookie? When had they ever seen a rookie so confident, even confident that people thought he was crazy? The key is that every time he says something, he can fulfill it again and again. That's what makes Logan feel most incredible. He has the capital to be arrogant and ruthless, because he pretends to be forced, and all of them can come back with his own ability. The reporters vaguely saw a new era of forced kings rising. Mark Jackson went on to talk about the team's roster, but apparently the reporters' attention was long gone. After the Warriors coach still thought he was the protagonist, all the reporters on the scene rushed to Logan's side. Still 3 layers of inside and 3 layers of outer spears and cannons aimed at him, Logan was more calm than before. After all, this is your own territory. Luo, congratulations on winning the game again. How does it feel to win 3 straight after coming to the NBA? ESPN's reporter took the lead in asking, from the beginning of the NCAA tournament, to the Summer League and now the regular season, you have never lost the game you officially played. Yes, like you said, I have become numb to the feeling of victory. Without thinking, Logan replied to the reporter, I can't remember the last time I lost. Or maybe I've never lost. Hiss, hearing Rogan's answer, the reporters at the scene gasped. It is worthy of being the king of the new era, and this pretending to be forced can be described as pure fire, and it is easy to come. Second question, Ro, you scored 24 points in the first quarter. Did back-to-back games have any impact on your form? TNT reporter shoved the microphone to Rogan's mouth. This is the first time in your career that you have competed at high intensity for 2 consecutive days. Compare the back-to-back Waterloo performance of a bearded golfer next door. Logan's state today is simply outrageous. Back-to-back? I don't feel anything special about it. To this question, Logan laughed directly. Dude, I only played for 22 minutes yesterday. Although this is the second consecutive day of fighting, Rogan played only 3 quarters yesterday at Phoenix, playing a total of 22 minutes. This kind of playing time, coupled with the intensity of the last game, Logan even felt that his physical consumption was not as good as this morning's team training. Back-to-back? That's it? Last question. The reporters on the scene quickly recorded Logan's answer, and the ABC reporter threw out the last question. Now, you've gone 3-0, and at the same time, the Los Angeles Lakers have not won a win so far. Luo, do you think the Lakers' first win or your first loss, which one will come first?